Amen.
And that deliverance has extended to our whole family.
Amen.
And then you see them also demonizing. You don't need to be accurate. But when they prophesy, God is going to bless you, they want that to be accurate. But you're demonizing accuracy. Then just demonize accuracy all across the board. This great God we serve is not your uncle, is not your grandmother, is not your grandfather. He's just God all by himself, and he does what he does.
Amen.
You get with the program or you're left behind. That's just his nature. He's not going to be confined by a book or by you. If the Bible is telling you everything that Christ did was not recorded, if it was recorded, there would be so many books not knowing where to keep them. And what we know, how many people have lived on the earth, the records of the people we have is not even 1% of people who walked with God. Imagine if Jethro wrote a chapter or a book in the Bible. Jethro was the one who was taking care of God's presence on Mount Sinai before Moses met him. So what did Jethro know about God that you don't know? Our wonderful Ethiopian brother and uncle. He was the one who brought the God of Israel back to Israelites. Israel had lost their God. Their God was in the Middle East being ministered to by an African man called Jethro. Was his priest. Before Israel had a priest, Africa had a priest unto God. You all don't understand this God. Jethro is a priest of God before Israel has a priest. Ask yourself, after I say amen, did I just believe the prayer or did I remain where God is? Daniel's prayer did not end when he said amen. The man was in the spirit that when they were accusing him and telling the king that if anyone prays to any other god, they should be thrown in the lions den, whatever. Daniel went back to prayer because he knew no lion is gonna stop him. They throw him in the lions den, he's alive. Why? Because his spiritual life was not controlled by the time he knelt down to pray. Many of you, when you kneel down to pray, is the moment you're in the spirit. When you say amen, you step out. Yet 98% of you, the truth is you kneel down, you're in the flesh still. Your problems are consuming you. Your stomach is telling you things. You are consumed by so many things. You're not in the spirit. How many of you said amen? And God began to speak to you. God began to give you instruction. How many of you said amen and you remained with God? That is the question at hand. That is the legitimate question right now. How many people want to have a spiritual mind? If you want to have a spiritual mind, just type number 1. If you want that, just say, I want the mind of Christ.
I want the mind of Christ.
Everyone online, type, I want the mind of Christ.
I want the mind of Christ.
I want you to write it over and over again. I want the mind of Christ.
I want the mind of Christ.
I desire the mind of Christ.
I desire the mind of Christ.
If this can be done, if this can be executed, if you would have a genuine and pure heart towards God, God will show you his ways.
Amen.
Jeremiah said, show me your ancient paths. Show me your ancient ways. Because he knew God has a way that is not new. His way existed before men existed. Before he created anything, God has had his ways. And God is married and stuck to his ways. He's not married to a generation. He's not married to an ideology of man. God has his own way, and that is why it's called Ancient of Days, meaning that he began before days began.